UFC Vegas 106 Burns versus Morales. This is the weigh-in recap. I'm going to take a look at each of these fighters on the scale, see how they rehydrated, check out the face-offs, give you guys my official picks, and then we're going to wrap the video up going over the parlays again. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and let's get this video underway. All right, so starting off the card, we got Luana Pinheiro taking on Tisha Pennington. I'm going to rock with my pick of Tisha. I do think, the tiny tornado is going to get it done probably, well, more than likely by a decision. I don't see either of these fighters, scoring a finish. I think Tisha's speed is going to, give her a slight advantage in this fight. I don't think, she has the power to knock Luana out. And Luana's striking, I'm not really impressed with either. I do think Tisha will probably nab a few takedowns, get some control time, and win it on the scorecards. I don't see, a tremendous performance coming out of this fight, but I do lean Tisha to win in this one. And here she is on the scale. The tiny tornado looking rock solid. We got this little thing blocking our way. We got no, weight misses this time around too, so that's pretty good. Let's see if we could find Luana. There's a lot of Luanas on this card. Where is she? Here she is. She looks pretty good. Like I said, nobody missed weight, so that was pretty good for this card as well. Had a few weight misses, a couple last week and then the week before. Good to see everybody's, back on track. Let's get to the face-off. There's a lot of females on this card, man. Here we go. Yep, I'm rocking with Tisha. I do think she gets it done. I think she nabs, like I said, probably like 2 to 3 takedowns, scores some control time, maybe land, some good ground and pound. But I think it's going to the scorecards. I think she gets it done by a decision. Next up, we got Hyun-Sung Park taking on Carlos Hernandez. I'm picking Hyun-Sung Park. I do think he is live for a finish, but I wouldn't be surprised if it goes all three. Carlos Hernandez, he's been in there with some really good competition. He lost to Taisuda Taira. He got knocked out. Ray Saruya, he's a really good grappler, lost. And then, he won against Tuman Dubara, who's pretty good. I think Hyun-Sung Park, his striking, his boxing is really clean. I think he will be able to find a few combinations on Carlos Hernandez, maybe hurt him, maybe take him down late in the fight and find a finish. I believe he has 9 finishes, right? I don't know. Yeah, 8. So 8 finishes, 1 decision. So he is, majority of the time, for all of his fights, he's looking for a finish. So I think he is live for one. But Carlos Hernandez, like I said, he is a tough customer. I do think it will be sort of a back and forth fight for the first 2 rounds. It'll be interesting, though. I think Carlos Hernandez is definitely a live dog in this one. I know the odds have definitely dropped. I think he's around like a plus 130 now. But I am going to rock with Hyun-Sung Park. I know he's a road to UFC guy. I haven't really been, strong on them. I picked AJ Cunningham against, I forgot who it was a few weeks ago. But that turned out to be absolutely, the wrong decision. AJ got absolutely worked. So some of these guys are okay. Maybe the matchups are favorable. But I do think this is a favorable matchup for Hyun-Sung Park, and I do think he gets it done over Carlos Hernandez. Let's get to the scales. And where we at? Here's Carlos. Looking pretty average, made weight, no issues. Where's Hyun-Sung? Here he is. Made weight again, no issues. He's got some really big ears, if you guys can see. And it looks like his fists are pretty small, but both of these guys are pretty small. They're flyweight division. Let's get to the face-off. I know it was like the first one, yeah. Hyun-Sung Park is slightly taller. I was a little shocked to see that. I thought he was smaller than Carlos Hernandez, but yeah, he's got a bit of a height advantage. I wonder who's got the reach. Carlos does. Okay, it's only by an inch. But yeah, barely anything that separates them two. I just like Hyun-Sung Park's striking combinations a lot better. I do think he will be able to hurt Carlos in this fight. And he is live for a finish. But again, like I said, I don't think it's, a lock that he gets a finish. I think Carlos Hernandez could definitely weather a storm and possibly survive to a decision. Could be a split decision. You never know. But yeah, I'm rocking with Hyun-Sung Park. I think he gets it done. Next up, we got Denise Gomes versus Elise Reed. I'm gonna rock with Elise Reed. There's a lot of wide lines on this card, and Denise Gomes, she is a really good striker. She does have a lot of power. She has been improving her grappling, but I don't know. I feel like Elise Reed is gonna give her some issues. I like her footwork. I like her speed. She might have a slight speed advantage in this one. I like her taekwondo style. Them sidekicks are definitely going to keep Denise Gomes at bay. I don't know if she'll be able to, cross that void as many times as she would like successfully. I think Elise Reed can probably, stay safe for a good 2 rounds. I could see, Denise Gomes coming full force at her late in the third and probably getting or winning that round. I think this fight will probably end in a split decision. I don't think Denise Gomes is going to knock her out. I know she has been finished in the past. She's got 2 knockout losses and 2 submission losses. And like I said, with Denise, working on her grappling recently, there could be a possibility where she, ties up with Elise Reed and tries to find a submission, takes her down. But I think Elise knows that she's going to have to, stay mobile, keep Denise Gomes at bay. And I think she's going to be able to employ that game plan. So I'm going to rock with Elise Reed for the upset, the biggest upset. Well, not the biggest, but one of the biggest upsets on the card. There's got to be one, right? So I think this would be, the most possible. So I'm going to go with Elise Reed. And, hey, sometimes you got to dare to be great. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to the scales. Where we at, ladies? Where we at? Here's Denise. Came in. She got her hoop earrings in. She's 115, no issues. May weight. Here's a better close-up version of her. Looking like a gangsta. I wouldn't want to fight her. Here's Elise. Looking like, everybody's favorite white girl from Iowa or wherever she's from. But like I said, I do think she's got the capabilities to avoid majority of the exchanges with Denise Gomes. Let's get to the face-off. Pretty similar, physicals here. I don't know. I prefer the long-range attacks over the brawler. You know what I'm saying? We'll just have to see if Denise can, tie up with her and get her down. That's probably going to be her game plan. And if she does do it, then hey, the pick was off. It is what it is. We move. But yeah, I'm gonna rock with Elise Reed. I think she stays long and gets it done by decision, split decision. I'm calling a split decision on this one, whoever wins it, unless Denise Gomes, knocks her out. Let's get to the next fight. We got Luana Santos taking on Tayanara Lisboa. I'm picking Lisboa. Like I said in the prediction video, her striking is a lot cleaner. I think she hits with a lot more, thudding power. This isn't a beauty contest. Luana Santos, she is a pretty girl. But like I said, she's been, she has gotten checked in her last fight against, I believe it was Casey O'Neill, right? Yeah. She's pretty much getting handled for a majority of that fight. Luana Santos, I don't like her striking at all. And when you're facing somebody at, not to say Lisboa is like the cleanest, Muay Thai practitioner or anything like that, but her striking is pretty good. And she was defending a lot of takedowns against Oliveira. She was able to get back up to her feet. I can see her being able to, create a lot of scrambles in this fight as well. And if this fight is majority spent, majority of the time on the feet, I'm favoring Lisboa. And like I said, I like her hands. Her kicks are really snappy. I think she's going to give Luana Santos a lot of trouble. Let's get to the scales. Here's Luana. Like I said, she's a pretty girl. But this ain't a beauty competition. came in, no issues on the scale. And where is Lisboa? She is coming off that knee surgery, so I understand why she's, an underdog in this fight. But I think she gets it done. I like her striking. I like her striking a lot better than Luana Santos. Let's get to the face-off. Here we go. Little fiery face-off between the ladies. Brazil. But yeah, I'm going with Lisboa. I think she gets it done. I like the striker in this matchup. Next up, we got Connor Matthews taking on Yadier DELVALLE. I do think Yadier is live for a finish. I think he does get a finish. Connor Matthews, he's coming off of back-to-back knockout losses. He did look really good on the scales, I will say that. But his striking he's got really good striking. He doesn't move his head, which neither does Yadier. But Yadier is able to, I feel like he'll be able to take a lot more punishment than what Connor Matthews can. Yadier, he's like a monster, literally. He walks forward. He's going to let his big bombs go, and I don't think Connor Matthews is going to be able to eat, any of them. I think Yadier is probably going to come out and blitz him early in that first round. And he does have his gas tank is a little questionable, but seeing what he was able to do in that Contender Series fight where he absolutely unloaded in that second round and was still able to, finish the round and finish the third round pretty strong. He was, shooting for takedowns and things. It's pretty impressive. So I can only assume that his gas tank has gotten better since then. And I think he's going to be able to, dictate where this fight goes, and he's going to put Connor Matthews out more than likely. Let's get to the scale. STOLTZFUS. Here's Connor Matthews. Like I said, he did look pretty good on the scale. Threw up the okay. I don't know why I thought he was a 55er. But yeah, here's another picture of him. He's looking good. He shaved his face and cut his hair. He looks like a completely different person. Here's DELVALLE. His eyes are a little sunken in. I thought he was, in his Contender Series fight, he looked, a lot bulkier. When you watch the weigh-in video, he looked, a lot more leaner. So I'm definitely expecting his gas tank to be a lot better. But yeah, he's pretty shredded too. And then let's get to the face-off. Here we go. Pretty even, height-wise. Believe the reach is pretty similar too. DELVALLE, his head is a lot larger. I think he'll be able to, like I said, I think he'll be able to eat whatever Connor Matthews is throwing at him. Connor Matthews, he is a pretty slick striker, but I don't know if he's going to be able to handle this. And he might be, on his way out of the UFC with another knockout loss here. So he's definitely going to be fighting with his job on the line. And this is another fight where the odds are pretty wide, but I do think Yadier gets it done inside the distance. Next up, what we got? Jared Gordon taking on Thiago Moises. I'm picking Thiago Moises. This is a really good fight. This is a really close fight. But I do think Thiago Moises has more weapons in the tool bag. Whereas we look at Jared Gordon, we're really just hoping for like a split decision victory. He's the, mainly a boxer, wrestler background. He's got some decent combinations in the pocket, but I think Thiago Moises is going to look to, if they do get in that pocket, he's going to look to, use that collar tie, clinch up, let some big knees go, attack the legs, take him down. He could submit him. He could finish him on the feet. Jared Gordon is a tough customer, though. I do see this being a back-and-forth fight, and I think there's going to be moments, really big moments for both of them. I could see Jared Gordon possibly getting knocked down. I could see Thiago Moises possibly getting knocked down or have him in a submission attempt. I think it's going to be a really interesting fight, and it's going to be, hell for the judges to score if we make it there. But like I said, I think Moises' bag is a little deeper, and that's going to give him the advantage in this fight. He's also 6 years younger. They got about, the same amount of fights, so it's not like one is more worn down than the other. Thiago Moises has actually been knocked out, I believe, more than Jared Gordon. Jared Gordon has 4 knockout losses. Moises has what? Oh, no, 2. My bad. But yeah, I don't know if either one of them are knocking each other out. I would favor Thiago Moises power wise. Last knockout for Jared Gordon was Mark Madsen, who was also an older gentleman. Thiago Moises, he's got that TKO over Mitch Ramirez with the leg kicks. I do see him, employing the leg kicks in this fight too. Not saying he's going to get the TKO with it, but I do see him chopping at Jared Gordon's lead leg because he's so heavy on it. And I can see a situation where Thiago Moises might shoot on Jared Gordon, or at least fake the shoot or fake the takedown attempt, and he comes up with a big knee. So look out for that too. Let's get to the scale. Here's Jared. Looking like, doesn't he look like Popeye? He looks good on the scale though. May weight, no issues. And where's Thiago? I think Thiago's on the next page. Yep. He's also been training with the Fighting Nerds. I know everyone's not aware of who's working with the Fighting Nerds because we're so focused on, the key four, but he's been training with them as well. And I do think they're going to be able to develop a really good game plan for him in this fight. This kind of reminds me of Caio versus Mikhail Olejniczak, and Olejniczak ended up joining the Fighting Nerds too. He just got his big victory over Cedricus Dumas. So I can see this, looking like that. But yeah, I'm going with Thiago Moises, the deeper, more skills in the toolbox for him. So I'm going with that. Next up, Mateus Camilo taking on Gabe Green. This was who I really wanted to see on the scale. And yeah, I got to admit, he does look really good. I'd want to pull up another picture of Gabe Green so you guys could see him on the scale in the past. Because he was a really big, not super big, but he was a big welterweight, So here's like a former picture of Gabe Green, right? Or older picture of Gabe Green. This is Adesanya versus Cannonier is probably 2.5 years ago. Yeah, he was fighting at 170. I think this was the it was the Ian Gary fight. I can't remember. But yeah, looking at him now, he looked like a lightweight. I gotta admit. But I'm going with Camilo. Gabe Green dropped a lot of weight. He dropped a lot of muscle mass. I'm going to show you guys in a second. I think that's going to be a little detrimental to him. I think Camilo can win this fight however he wants. I will say, cautious, this guy, Gabe Green, he does have not a lot, but he has some UFC experience. He's been in there with some really good, some really good fighters. He got the win over Phil Rowe, who's actually really good. Johan Lainus, he's not good, but another UFC victory, and he got a knockout. And then he's been in there with Ian Gary and then Brian Battle. Brian Battle, of course, finished him. Ian Gary hurt him, but didn't score the finish. But yeah, he's been in there with bigger guys. He's been in there with better talent. So I do understand the side of a lot of people betting on Gabe Green to, get a victory and teach the newcomer a lesson. But I think Mateus Camilo is good everywhere, and I think no matter where this fight goes, he won't really be in trouble, So let's get a look at them on the scales. Here's Gabe Green. He looks good, but he also looks, a little frail at the same time, if you get what I'm trying to say. You can definitely see it in like his head is shrunken. The biceps aren't as, big as before. He's shredded, of course, across the torso, but I don't know, man. If you, when we get to the face off, you're going to be able to see his neck is a lot. Here, I don't want to jump ahead. Let's get to Camilo. His neck is a lot thinner too. Where's Camilo? There we go. Like, look at him, and then look at Gabe Green. You know what I'm saying? He looks like he could make 170. Camilo's not a small dude. He looks really good. He came in really good shape. Let's get to the face-off though. Look at look at Gabe Green's neck. It's a lot thinner than before. If you guys have been, watching weigh-in recap or weigh-ins and stuff like that, his neck is a lot thinner. He looks a lot thinner. Camilo looks like a more natural lightweight. You know what I'm saying? Gabe Green definitely looks like a guy who dropped a lot of weight. Like, you know how when fat people lose like 200 pounds and they got like that excess skin? It's like the reverse for Gabe Green. He's got the beard trying to, disguise the chin from Camilo, but I do think he will be able to find it. So I'm going Matias Camilo. Method of victory, it could be knockout, could be submission, it could be decision. You never know. He's really good everywhere. Lately, he's been more of a decision guy, so I wouldn't be surprised if he, gets a win by decision here. But I am going Matias Camilo to get the victory. Next up, opening up the main card. If you guys haven't already, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn the post notifications on. Got Juicy J taking on Melquizio Costa. I'm rocking with Melky. I think he's going to have the physicality advantage. Wherever this fight goes, I feel as though he can control the pace, the outcome, and I think I know his jiu-jitsu is a lot better than Juicy J's. He's not going to get caught in the infamous Juicy J gilly. I think Melky is live for a finish too. I think, with Juicy J leaving his hands down majority of the time, he likes to fire from the hip. I think the high kick is there for Melky. I think he's going to flash it a lot in the first round too. I would definitely, do that to force Juicy J's hands to come up. Maybe he mixes in a takedown and finds a submission. You never know. But I do think Melquizio Costa has the better skill set in this matchup. They're pretty even in the not the amount of fights, but the amount of experience. Juicy J has been in and out of the UFC a few times too, so you got to give him some credit for that. He's been able to work his way back. But I do think Melky having the skill set that he does, I do think he wins over Julian Erosa. Get to the scale. Here is Melky. You got to get this dude some respect, too. He's fought, 3 times in the last 4 months, maybe even less than that. He got the win over Philly, C-Rod, and then he's fighting here, so 3 times. But, yeah, got to give him some respect. And then where's Julian? I know he was towards the top, right? Maybe he's on the next page. Yeah, I think he's on the other page. Yeah, there he is. Looks good. Nothing really to say about him on the scale, you know what I'm saying? Let's go to the face-off. They were talking a lot during their face-off. Really respectful between the two. You can see it looks like Juicy. Well, he's kind of turned sideways, but they're pretty built similar. On paper, they got Juicy J as a little taller, but you can't really tell in this pic. They look about the same size, you know what I'm saying? So I think Melquizio Costa is live for a finish. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a decision victory, though. But look out for that high kick. I think he's going to use it in this fight. He's got really good stand-up, or I would say better stand-up than Juicy J. So, but yeah, this is a really important fight for both of them, too. Excuse me. They're both on a 3-fight win streak, so really good featherweight battle right here. Good main card opener. Next up, we got Nursultan Ruziboev taking on Dustin STOLTZFUS, 1/2 of the lock of the week. If you guys don't know, we're doing Nursultan Ruziboev and Rodolfo Bellato inside the distance, plus 115 if you guys didn't grab it already. Nursultan Ruziboev is going to knock Dustin STOLTZFUS out. And maybe even get a submission, you never know. But this dude is good everywhere. A lot of people are expecting Dustin STOLTZFUS to be able to wrestle and take Nursultan down and probably find a finish. But if you look at Nursultan Ruziboev, he's got 20 submissions by himself, and he's only lost by submission 1 time. He's got 13 knockouts and then 2 wins by decision. He's great everywhere, and he's scary at 6'5", 185. He was even scarier at 170, but that really wasn't a good decision for him to do it. But if he was able to make the weight correctly and be as physically imposing as he is even at middleweight, that definitely would have been scary. I know he got wrestled up by Joaquin Buckley, but Buckley's a different monster, and like I said, he was cutting a lot of weight to make 70. Dustin STOLTZFUS, he's a pretty good grappler. When I see him, I think he's a brawler though, and you see him getting knocked out by a Boost. You see him getting knocked out by Bruno Ferreira. He did get the win over Marc Andre, but Marc Andre was already chin checked. You know what I'm saying? Marc Andre just got booked to fight Shar Magomedov, and I think he's gonna get put out in that fight. But shout out to him for taking it. But yeah, Nursultan RUZIBOEV, right hand straight down the pipe. I think he's gonna shut Dustin STOLTZFUS lights right out, just like he did to Bruno Ferreira. I think it's gonna look a lot similar to that. The reach is pretty even, but when we look at the face-off, Dustin STOLTZFUS is gonna have to look all the way up just to reach this guy's face. So when you're punching up, it's a lot more distance for you to cover. You know, it's really uncomfortable too. So I got Nursultan inside the distance for sure. Let's get to the scales. Here's Nursultan looking really good. He had a lot of fans in the building too. But yeah, this dude's big for 185. Really big for 185. Here's Dustin. He looks good. He looks good at 185 too. Looks really shredded. Definitely has like a wrestler's physique. Definitely, you know, I feel like he's going to be looking to shoot. I don't think he's going to be successful at it though. Nursultan has a lot of weapons in his tool bag, and I could definitely see him throwing a big knee down the middle, shutting Dustin's lights out. Here's the face-off. He was standing on his tippy toes, so the height doesn't really look like what it is. Yeah, he was being a little funny. If you guys watch the video, you'll see his eyes were probably at his chin. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Nursultan RUZIBOEV inside the distance to get half of our parlay for the lock down. Next up, we got the featured fight of the night. Sodiq Yusuff taking on Myron Santos. I'm going with Myron. I think he's going to be a lot more cleaner on the feet, a lot more mobile. Sodiq is going to, you know, try to pressure forward and exchange. I think Myron's going to be able to chop at that calf and move to the outside of the ring. We are in the apex, so the octagon is a little bit smaller, but I think he'll have enough space to, you know, move around and keep Sodiq at bay. And like he said in his pre-fight conference, media day interview, Sodiq Yusuff, his explosions in the first round is where he's the most dangerous. After that, it's kind of like not really as threatening, you know. If you look at the Edson Barboza fight, yes, he hurt him early, almost got him out of there early, but he tired out towards the end of the fight. I know this isn't a 5-round fight, this is a 3-round fight, but I don't know. I just think this is a really big, you know, shoot up the ladder for Myron Santos. Maybe Dana White is trying to get him, you know, X'd, but I think he's gonna look really good in this fight. Can't hold his, you know, last performance against him. It was the judges, it wasn't him. I almost picked against him in this fight because of that, but I had to, you know, reel myself back in. But I am going to go with Myron Santos. Like I said, I think his mobility is going to be the factor in this fight. And I didn't mention it, you know, for the predictions, but this fight is at 155. So, wrong tab. Don't need to see Gabe Green anymore. But yeah, this fight is at 155. So we get to see Myron Santos looking like the butter boy. I'm trying to find a picture of it so you guys know what I'm talking about. But yeah, here's Sodiq. Surprisingly, Sodiq is smaller than Myron Santos. I did not know that. I wonder what the 5'9", they're listed as 5'9", but when you see them together, Myron looks a lot bigger than Sodiq Yusuff. So that was kind of interesting too. Where's Myron? Myron. I gave you a little sneak peek at the face-off. Here's Myron, looking like the butter boy. I'll show you guys in a second. But yeah, he doesn't really look like, you know, he doesn't really look jacked or anything like that. He's in good condition, but here's the face-off though. He's a lot larger than Sodiq Yusuff. They're both listed as 5'9", but I don't know. Look at he looks a little taller. Sodiq looked like when you watch the video, he looked like a little boy compared to him. I don't know, man. But yeah, I'm going with Myron Santos. I think he wins it by decision. I think it's going to be a really good fight, though, too. I really like this for the featured fight of the night. Co-main event, Paul Bearju Craig taking on Rodolfo Bellato. Rodolfo Bellato by knockout. Gotta respect Paul Craig's jiu-jitsu, I know, but I don't feel as though he's gonna be able to pull it off. He's not gonna get a. Although Rodolfo is he prioritizes grappling, I feel like he's gonna be able to knock Paul Craig out. He stands really tall. The only weapons that he really has on the feet are his teeps, and he's got like a straight left hand, I believe it is, but it's not gonna keep. I don't think it's gonna keep Rodolfo Bellato at bay. I don't think he has the power to do it either. Rodolfo Bellato, I think he's gonna be able to clean Paul Craig's clock, and he's probably gonna be on his way out of the UFC. He has said, he is fighting for his job, but I think his job is definitely gonna be gone. This loss over Bo Nickel, he really didn't force any issues in the fight. He landed a few shots, but like I said, he got knocked out by Caio, who's, a hell of a contender right now. Brendan Allen subbed him up. He's got a win over Andre Muniz, which is trash. And then Johnny Walker knocked him out. Bellato, I know he faced a lot of adversity in his Jimmy Crute fight, but he came back, fought back to a draw. Eor Potiero almost put him out, but he came back and knocked him out. And then he got that knockout over Murtaza Talal on the Contender Series. If you don't know, Rodolfo Bellato his 2 losses are to one person, and that's Vitor Petrino. Vitor Petrino knocked him out on the Contender Series the second time, and then the first time knocked him out in this fight, Lee Max fight. So just showing you how to do my little research, you know what I'm saying? Let's get to the scales. Here's Rodolfo. He's huge, bro. He's a big 205er. He definitely could make. I feel like he would have an impact at heavyweight too. So maybe not against like really good strikers, but against some decent. Maybe not. Let me take that back. He needs to stay at 205. A fight against like him and Ming Yang Zhang though, I'd probably pick Ming Yang Zhang. But yeah, here's another pick of him. Here's Paul Craig. Paul Craig always looks pretty good on the scales, but that clock has just been rang a little too many times, and I feel like it's definitely going to happen here. We did get a really intense face-off. Paul Craig with the famous, stripes on his face. Bellato wasn't phased, though. Look at him staring in his eyes, knowing he's about to feast on his prey. I think Bellato gets done by knockout in the, I'll say first round. End of the first round, I think he gets it done. Let's get to the main event of the evening. Michael Morales versus Gilbert Burns. I think Michael Morales is going to find the finish. I know Gilbert Burns is trying to make this resurgence. He's coming off of 3 really good wins. Really good losses. It's against 2 champions and a number 1 contender. Excuse me. So I understand people are like, come on, man. Like, he's minus or plus 500 against this prospect who hasn't fought anyone. I get it. But you guys haven't been watching Michael Morales like I have. This dude is serious. And his boxing combinations is what's going to cause Gilbert Burns a lot of trouble. Gilbert has a lot of success with guys who throw hooks with him. Michael Morales is coming right down 1-2 street, and it's going to sting. We saw Gilbert Burns get dropped by Usman with a jab. We saw Hamzat was able to sting him up with some really good straight punches. JDM was able to touch him up with some straight punches. And Michael Morales is really good everywhere. He's got solid takedown defense. He can do jiu-jitsu, or he's got some really good jiu-jitsu. His striking, though, that's definitely what's going to be his moneymaker in this fight. Gilbert Burns, he does look really good, though. He definitely looks like he's in the best shape of his life, but it's not going to be enough. How many times has Gilbert Burns been knocked out? 3 times. Usman, JDM, power jab. Who else knocked him out? Dan Hooker. Yeah, I think Michael Morales is going to be added to that list of people who finished or knocked out Gilbert Burns. I like Michael Morales. He's got the whole Spider-Man thing going on this time around too. Here he is on the scales. He's been leaning into that as like his little signature. When we get to the face off, you'll see he's got like spider webs, and the design of his hair is pretty cool. But yeah, this dude is he's big for Gilbert Burns, not for the division, but he's pretty big. 6'1", every bit of 170. He's probably gonna come in to the cage at like 185, 190, somewhere around there. Whereas you look at Gilbert's probably walking in. Gilbert probably doesn't cut a lot of weight because he was formerly a welterweight. You know what I'm saying? He looks really good though. He looks really good on the scale. Let's get to the face off. Here we go. Look at the size advantage. He's a big dude, bro. Michael Morales is really big. And he's got really long arms. He's got like an 80-inch reach. He's going to put that knuckle on Gilbert's chin, and he's going to crumble. You heard it here first. Maybe not first, but you heard it here. So, best believe. Here's a close-up. I was telling you guys about the Spider-Man hair. He's going to put it on Gilbert Burns. It could be in the first. It could be in the fourth. It could be a decision. But he's definitely going to whoop Gilbert Burns. I think he's going to be able to hold off, the submission attempts too. So, I really like Gilbert, but I don't think he's beating Michael Morales. So, that's what I got to lock in the official picks. Let's get over to the money-making parlays. We got over 2.5 Elise Reed versus Denise Gomes, and the over 2.5 in Hernandez versus Hung Sung Park. I think that's really live. Like I said, both of them, Gomes and Park, are capable of finishing, but I do think these are some really good matchups for them. I think it's tougher for Park to find the finish. And then I could see Elise Reed staying mobile for a majority of the fight. And we got Costa and Camilo. Those are two of my most confident picks for this fight. So I'm rocking with that. Plus 125. Then we got Morales inside the distance, Costa money line, and RUZIBOEV money line. That gets you about plus 212. Then we're going Costa inside the distance. Like I said, those high kicks are definitely going to be there for him. I think he'll be able to utilize it. The over 2.5 in Pennington versus Pinheiro, and then Morales inside the distance playing that again. Plus 330. Then we got, Camilo inside the distance, DELVALLE KO, plus 706. I feel like both of those are live to happen. Then we go on with Brazil, Thiago Moises, Myron Santos, Lisboa, all money line, plus 771. And then we're going for the Hail Mary, Elise Reed decision, Myron Santos decision, and Hung Sung Park inside the distance. So I'm playing Park, both ways. We'll see what happens. But that is what I got for you guys for the weigh-in recap. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. I will be live streaming this entire event, doing a fight companion. So make sure you guys got your notifications on. You'll see when I go live, starting the card at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you guys tune into that. Come watch the fights with me. See how I'm reading the fights too. Maybe make some live plays. But yeah, check in with me. Let's link up. Let's watch these fights, and I'll see you guys on the recap. Thanks for tuning in.